And I says to her, "Nowhere. I hardly met her."
What the fuck are you on about?
Uh, Anyway, hello, welcome to episode 61 of Dissonant Waves. It's 5, almost 6 o'clock in the morning here, so I've been trying to make a joke, but
I know it's funny. I love that you had this idea in your head of just how you got to start like it's a general chatter, and then me and Trix are gonna just laugh along with you. But we know damn well Trix wouldn't have said anything, and I was always going to be a sarcastic cunt. So
and what I said was not funny at all, so
yeah,
that's on me. But
and I said to him, uh, uh, yeah,
you
It is
censure
true.
me?
yeah, I censure you.
Oh no.
I don't agree with the words that you have said in this parliament.
I'm gonna go to the shame corner, or the cone of shame.
I love every time a censure movement happens in any government and people confuse it with censor and they just go, oh, this is an attack on free speech. It's like, no, they're just calling him a cunt. It happened here in our government with Fraser Anning after he did the anti-Muslim remarks right after the Christchurch shooting. Perfect timing to make some racist remarks there.
Yeah.
And there was a censure movement because they were going like, we don't agree, we don't reflect this in our parliament, which I don't know how that passed because there were some absolutely racist people in our parliament, but regardless,
Yeah,
he kept going on about how it was an attack on free speech. It's pretty funny.
I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
attacks on free speech quotes today come from the gamers who are all about those localizations of Japanese games, and it's like
The
I
most the
need to
most
see my
oppressed group.
underage anime titties.
I like me some Japanese games a lot, but like
If you want
that's
to
the
see
weirdest hill to die
underage
on.
anime titties, you just go into the Steam store. It's full of them.
Yeah.
There's the old vagina bones thing
Speaking of the
when
Steam
Tokyo
store,
Mirage
I have
Sessions
a
came
game
out.
on the Steam store.
Yeah, tell us
Download
about
my
your
game.
game. What is your game?
Yeah, Side Rugby League, baby.
Can you
So
spell
I
side?
SYDE. It's actually named after this band in Australia and that I was listening to, and it's a reference to both that it's a side project, and I was listening to this band called Side at the time, which has the
Cool.
Y in it. They have a Y with like umlauts on it, so that's why the engine's called that. It doesn't have the umlaut, so I'm not fully ripping off the name. But that was an engine I made around 2018, still working on to this day. Everything runs in the Windows terminal, and yet somehow graphically, although 16 colors. And I finally got a game as of recording of this. It is live on the Steam store. It's not available for release. However, the discussions, threads, and stuff are up, and you can actually view the game. It should be released 31st of July. That's the plan, but it could get delayed if things go wrong.
I currently have a beta key, which I should redeem soon.
You should redeem and beta test because I have been beta testing as well as someone else's on Minimi's Discord who has been doing it from Windows 8.1, and it has been killing me the amount of bugs he's found.
Oof. That's Windows 10
It's,
for you.
it's good. No, he's on 8.1.
And you're on 10.
Yeah, I'm on 10. But it's good. So we're very, very intrusive beta testing at the moment, and that's what I've been doing for the past week and a half, along with listening in my actual job.
Yeah.
But holy fuck, is it just like you think your game's bug free until you pass it over to one person.
Well, that's the fun of it. You got to think of
Fucking
how people will play,
uh,
and then you can't because there's so many ways to do things.
And I was so caught up in development that I almost forgot to listen to the albums this week.
Well, one of those wasn't your fault.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I should listen to this. Spotify, not there. Okay, YouTube, not there. I'm out of ideas. Wasn't like just nowhere to buy it. It's fucking stupid.
Speaking
You can
of,
blame Rob Zombie for that one.
Ugh.
we have 3 albums and a little bit extra to listen to this week. We had the newest King Gizzard album, Butterfly 3000. Because King Gizzard's always a mainstay on this show. We are rounding out our Rainbow Kitten Surprise discography with RKS and Mary B sides and a little single here or there. But the album we're talking about right now, kind of, is the Bomboras Head Shrinking Fun, or Shrinkin Fun, if you want to be technical.
Yes.
I enjoyed this album a lot more than I thought I was going to.
It's a fun surf album. It's just like a
Yeah.
good Halloween album.
Well, I think I expected there to be a lot more vocal performances in there, but it was all short instrumental, and
Surf
yeah, I wouldn't.
music is like no vocals, and this is traditional hardcore.
Yeah.
surf.
Trix, can you come up to
Well,
the mic a little bit, please?
I think
Yeah,
I
sorry,
think
it fell behind me.
admittedly, I am a bit like I'm spoiled by more modern surf rock. Obviously, Hockey Dad being a big one of them, but also like when we did Wunderbar, those are quite vocal heavy albums.
Yeah.
And I hadn't actually listened to like a pure surf rock album like this in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is fun. I liked all the kind of fake advertisements that were happening throughout it. I liked just how the guitars were a kind of a main focus and just how they sounded on this. I don't think it was too unique compared to all the surf rock I have heard, but I do think it was well executed.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
surf rock is like a one-trick pony, but it's a one-trick pony that you can have a lot of fun with.
it's a short album that feels a lot shorter than it actually is, which just goes to show how much I was enjoying it. I appreciate this.
I was a fan of the organ that kept appearing. It made it feel a bit more like horror surf punk, but not like
Oh yeah.
not extremely. Just kind of like it's there. You could throw this on for like October and be sufficiently pleased.
Oh yeah. It's in my Halloween playlist, which maybe won't.
You cut out
They
there,
cut out.
Trix.
But while Trix is dying,
Wait, what?
You cut out.
right, now Trix is back.
Oh, this album is on my Halloween playlist, which maybe one day I'll release.
Ah, yes.
Ooh,
Um,
spooky,
spooky.
scary skeletons. The greatest Halloween song of all time.
Of the albums I had expected to own at some point this week, I feel like I bought everyone but the album I wanted to buy originally, starting with this one.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, you had to buy it. Well, you didn't have to, but I bought it just so you could pirate it to me.
because
That's right. We're talking about our legal doings on the podcast. What are you gonna do?
I mean, it was just. I mean, it's for the purposes of this show, So there was a reason. It's not just.
Generally, can't get this in Australia.
Yeah. That's
If I wanted to
interesting.
get this, I would have to get it physically, and I might buy this physically because I can see myself coming back to it. I don't think this is one of those albums where I'd go back to a single song. Maybe Run and Hide. I liked Run and Hide and Mystery Planet as individual songs, but it is just an album of surf rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's an album. That's what I like.
I think it's kind of fun because like the Bomborases were like around for like a handful of years in the '90s, and they produced like a bunch of records real fast. It seems like, and
Yeah.
somehow this was like the last one, kind of randomly. Like they had just signed a like Rob Zombie's new label, and
Actually, I believe Savage Island is their most recent one, and that was from 2004. I want to say.
well, Savage Island was their first one. That was
Oh, it must have gotten re-released.
come up on the mic again, please. You're a little
It must have gotten re-released.
yeah. So because Savage Island, I was reading about, was like their first album. It was made for $200.
That's
So-
actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, so you get that, and you come all the way to this, which is their finale with the biggest label they had at the time. This is also like a weird thing where they were on Geffen Records because that's what Rob Zombie was signed with. This was like an imprint, Zombie a Go Go, and then they got bought by Universal, which delayed the release of this for quite a bit, for like a few months. And then I guess somehow by 2000, a couple of years later, everyone had kind of moved on, and I wonder if anything like from hitting the big time or like that weird period kind of caused that. I mean, there's nothing saying it did, but it just feels like a bunch of activity, and then the moment they had to stop, it was nothing.
Yeah. Could just be like they kind of like played the course.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we've done everything we can do with this surf rock band.
I mean, Dave Klein, as we talked about, kind of went on to be like in the Ghastly ones and has been in a bunch of bands since then.
Yeah.
Dave Klein being in Agent Orange right now. He Ghastly ones were like they produced a SpongeBob song or two. SpongeBob Scaredy Pants, I think it is.
Yeah, I believe that's the episode where they shave him to his brain.
So there's people that had like a career and like done other surf punk, surf rock kind of horror themed stuff, but yeah, this band, this was kind of it for them. This is their last album.
Yeah.
I mean, if this was the last thing that you put out, you could be happy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this isn't a in the airplane over the sea last album, but you know it's a strong effort. I think it definitely reflects their sound quite well. Whilst it's not the most unique thing I've ever heard, I think there's just a lot of fun with this album. I wouldn't. I don't know if I would put it past number 3. I'm still like considering my rankings
Yeah.
of this, but I mean it's been a really strong week, which
Yeah.
is
A lot stronger than last week.
Yeah.
You know, I have vetted my choice for next week. I think it'll go pretty well. I think you'll be surprised.
Like every week, I forget to do my choice until we actually do it.
I'm gonna flip a coin live on air to figure out mine.
Well, that means I should go first in case I don't want anyone stealing my album or my thunder. So,
I don't think I'll steal it. So, but yeah, go ahead.
well, we'll get to that at the end of
We'll
the
get to
show.
that. Yeah,
We've got
when
a
we get to it.
2021 next week, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Okay, good. That stops me from doing a surprise classic then.
Oh, I mean, eventually you'll get there. But
Yeah.
the fun thing I thought was that the 90s were a real big time for like weird throwback kind of ideas. Like
Yeah,
horror
like
surf
good
punk
swing
being
revival.
I was gonna say this is probably more listenable now than like a lot of the electro swing revival kind of stuff probably is. Can't say that with certainty, but this has a theme and an aesthetic that feels timeless. Where that all it's like nobody's doing electro swing really right now.
Can I just say as well, I fucking love the cover art.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
With
Yeah.
where they're shrinking the head.
very like 60s album art kind of thing.
Yeah. They're going
Well-
like late 50s, early 60s throwback all the way on the side.
Yeah, and this album kind of has the theme of that, but also as it kind of shows, it's not taking it all so seriously. It is still having fun with it. It's not about making a modern music. It's not about making like or anything like special or being truly recreating the 60s. It's just about throwing back to there and having fun with it.
Yeah. Like it starts off with talking about needle scorching hits.
Yeah.
So that'll set the scene.
It's a kind of fun theme that they throw around. I like that it sticks with it the whole album. I mean, admittedly, I only got to listen to this album yesterday, so I don't have a full kind of like weeks of listening onto this
Sure.
album. But so like, I forgive any I don't know what the word is, like mistakes or just like forgetfulness or misremembering, because it isn't fully ingrained in my head. But
Right.
Yeah, nobody's blaming you.
I'm very
But this album does remind me of I mean the opening songs specifically remind me a lot of Dick Dale's work.
Oh yeah.
I was really
He's
curious
like-
about
sorry, you were
that
saying
title, Land of the One Percenters. Like, I know, like the
Hmm.
1% has been like a thing in at least American political discourse for about 10 years or more. But like, you know, I was a child back then. I wouldn't have noticed if that was like a thing that's been going a lot longer.
Yeah.
Concept of like the 1% owning most of the resources, and then like the 99
Yeah, I
not
don't know
having
where
as
it comes
much.
from either.
So
That would have to be like a you message the album art, the artist, whatever.
what?
Yeah, that'd be you have to message like the artists to find out what it's about.
Right. Yeah, the first song being Land of the One Percenters does definitely like strike an interesting chord to start. Maybe that's just a random thing. Maybe that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But in hindsight now, it has like an interesting feel to it.
Yeah.
And then they go, and a lot of it's like you said, pretty short, kind of just like it's surf rock. It's a little bit horror themed, but you know, it's like okay, this one has a bass line. This one is like it starts out with like the radio announcer, then it kicks into the full. This one has a drum solo. You know, they find different ways to iterate between each song, so that they're not really deviating from their sound, but they are still experimenting with what that is.
Yeah.
And they show their love for Fatal Frame by having a song called Project Zero. Weird how that worked out before Fatal Frame even came out, but
I'm gonna use this time to admit that I got nothing else to say about this album.
It's like popcorn. It's fun. It's easy to consume, and yeah,
And potentially bad for you.
yeah. Only depends on how much butter you have with it.
I
And
mean,
when I make popcorn, like what a good way to do some popcorn is if you want it sweet or like how I perfectly love it. Maple syrup, brown sugar, a bit of baking soda or baking powder, and salt, and just put that in a fry pan and just cook it up. And you got this kind of frothy salted caramel sauce, and just pour it all over the popcorn and mix it.
so I will admit I'm probably the one of those three of us who probably like this album the least, and the only in that.
I think I made Trix horny with that actually.
I mean, if you've followed my Twitter at all, you've seen that last night I was watching people put eggs on food like people watch pornography.
Those pictures you posted did look pretty good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I got a good egg looks delicious.
Oh yeah. It's hard to fuck up eggs.
What type of eggs were they?
It was a poached egg, I think. No, it was just a fried egg. But
Ooh.
I was looking at like poached eggs and soft boiled eggs, which is my favorite way to make eggs.
I love when I search up procrastinate on Twitter. There's this one that just says a fucking idiot.
Okay, wait. I gotta look this up.
Meanwhile, while we're doing that, what I was saying was that for me, like it's 15 songs and they're short, but I do still feel it drags a bit as it gets into it, kind of toward the end of like, yeah, it's surf rock. I like it, but like you really need to kind of do more a little bit. Like you're experimenting still, but I feel like there's sometimes not enough experimentation to justify having so many songs. Like there's one toward the end that was kind of refreshed me a bit. Playa de los Muertos, because it has more of a Spanish influence, and that was interesting at least.
Oh yeah, that's a great tune.
But like some of it like before that, just kind of like I like it, but there's a lot here to listen to, and that's all. It's kind of blending a little bit together now. Anyway,
Gotcha. Yeah.
Twitter stories, come at me.
It was just me posting eggs and stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm just looking at that muffin right now. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Is that bacon on the bottom of it? Yeah, it is. Or is that
I
onion?
think it is.
It might be onion.
Let me look at the image again.
I think it's barbecue sauce and onion. That is a good egg though. It's
Yeah, I
not
think
poached. It's fried, but
it is
yeah.
fried, but I was looking at poached eggs earlier, so
Yeah.
I was looking at a lot of eggs, man. They run together in your head.
Alright. Take on eggs Benedict.
I don't ever think I've had it proper.
Neither have I.
If I get another eggs Benedict where they've undercooked my poached egg again, holy shit! It's like you eat it, and it's just a raw egg. It's like no, properly cook the egg.
Yeah.
There's a cafe right near me. They do it well. I admit I'm not a good poacher myself, but I don't sell people eggs Benedicts, do I?
You gotta make the vortex and then drop the egg in gingerly and then like carefully pull it out.
Mm.
It's too much work for me. I just wanna. I usually try and go like over easy in the mornings, but like I usually fuck it up and end up making scrambled.
I feel that way about margaritas in that they're good, but they're a lot of work, so I don't really like to do that.
I need to pick up some eggs.
I need to pick up some tequila.
I'm also on the egg train here.
Yeah, I think all three of us should cook eggs, and that should be the photo for this album art.
Yeah, so
I
I'll
need
pictures of eggs just pasted together.
Yeah.
I might go. There's a liquor store right next to me that sells eggs. I might pick some up there because I can't be screwed going anywhere else, especially with lockdown.
I'll make
liquor store that sells eggs.
I'll make my college meal where I would just put a bunch of spices and like pasta sauce because that's all I had to put with it.
I should make a good omelet. I need get some mushrooms and just put that in an omelet.
I'm going grocery shopping after I get off of this and buying like some good eggs. And I'm gonna do this right.
I might have enough time before we post this to go get like another rice cooker and like have rice with it and really make it like a whole thing. Oh man, rice and eggs go together very well.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, good album.
Yeah. Favorites, probably Playa de los Muertos. For me, probably least favorite's Mystery Planet. The one I just didn't feel like it was like short. It was like, oh yeah, this is very, very Dick Dale, but other than that, not much to say.
I liked Mystery Planet. I liked Land of the One Percenters. I liked Hit and Ride. I didn't really have a least favorite. Yeah, I don't have a
Yeah,
least
no,
favorite for any song this week actually.
I
Or
have
any
a
album
least
this week.
favorite for one album, but I'll get into that. But like no least favorite on this one.
Well, what's the album that you have the least favorite on? Let's do it. I'm ready for it.
RKS.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, okay.
let's talk about Arcus, the other Rainbow Kitten Surprise album.
This one I like, but like I can't really remember it that well.
Yeah, it's not as good as How to Friend Love Free Fall, whatever the fuck they called that one. I'm sorry. I love the album. It's a horrible name.
You got it right this time, I
But,
think.
oh,
Yeah,
did I?
Yeah, I think Free Fall is probably their best album.
7 Plus Mary is also pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And you've been saying that this is not like the best, and I was still like, let's do it anyway, and you were right.
I like
It's got some good songs on it, but like it's nowhere near their best at all.
I like Run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like.
I liked
I think-
Heart, but that's not the B-side. So.
Yeah, we also
I
did the
think
Mary
my
B sides.
I think my absolute favorite off this album is Goodnight Chicago.
Yeah, I like the second half of the album. Well, here's the thing with it. For me, it feels like they got a different kind of producer for this one. That was kind of like, hey,
Yeah.
you guys should go like a little bit more mainstream, try to get like a more rock focus, like more masculine, hot blooded kind of image going.
Yeah.
And so they try that for a bit, and it creates some interesting effects and sounds that you don't expect from Rainbow Kitten Surprise. But then, like the second half of the album is, let's just go back to what we've been doing and make it more folky, and it works much
And it's
more.
so much better.
So, like,
Bare Bones.
Yeah, Bare Bones is great. That's probably my favorite here. But Cocaine Jesus, Goodnight Chicago, All's Well That Ends, all of them are so much better than the first half.
Yeah, I
Cocaine
think I'm tend
Jesus
to
is
agree.
like my least favorite song off the album. There's just something about it wherever it comes on, I'm like, skip.
I was interested in the fact that I was on Bandcamp looking at the Rainbow Kitten, and the first suggestion that they had was Shaky Graves.
Yes.
And I know that Ritz was not a big fan of Shaky Graves, but you seem to like this a lot more.
Yeah, well, I mean, Shaky Graves is a lot more country, which I don't like country that much. There's a couple exceptions, mostly Band of Horses, and they're not really that country.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Cease to Begin's indie country, and I like that album.
I mean, to call
But-
you out or anything, I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
one's a lot more folky, and there's I know a lot of people would disagree, but there's a big difference between folk and country.
There is.
Absolutely, there is.
Yeah, a lot of when I say a lot of people, I mean a lot of people with no taste.
And then you have bands that kind of skirt that line intentionally and make more interesting stuff, like Middle East.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Middle East is folk. Then I know you say stuff is like Americana in there, but they're not really inspired by it.
That's fair. I just like parts of I Want That You're Always Happy do sound a bit more toward that range for me. But yeah.
Yeah.
But this album still interesting. Like compared to the other two, it's just kind of like an odd chapter, but like okay. It's like it's their sophomore album, so they're still trying stuff. They're still, they made American Shoes, but that's okay. Everyone stumbles.
I like American Shoes.
Probably my least favorite. But
I mean, I agree that the second half is a bit stronger, but I do like the first half. I think a lot more than you two do. I know we're going on with they are trying to sound a bit more mainstream kind of stuff, but I mean, there's a pretty big change in sound from the Seven and Mary.
Yeah.
Granted, I like Seven and Mary more. I think.
like Counting
I think
Cards,
there's a lot more interesting songs in there, like First Class than Seven.
and then
Yeah.
Devil Like Me, classic.
Yeah.
Every Rainbow Kitten Surprise album has a reference to the devil.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be telling me that Rainbow Kitten Surprise are doing it before Little Nas X?
Yes.
Fair enough.
We'd love to see that collaboration. Holy shit. Make it happen.
That would, oh man, that would actually be fucking great. Holy shit.
Rap battle between Lil Nas X and Sam Mello. Let's do it.
Oh,
I just want someone to put out the gayest possible album of all time because that would be interesting.
I think we're approaching it with that concept.
I don't know. I feel like Cub Sports still beats that.
I mean, we listened to Chromatica last year.
Cub Sport put out a collaboration with Darren Hayes, who's the singer from Savage Garden. I assume you two know what Savage Garden is.
I think
No.
that silence says that we do not.
No. They were previously the gayest band in Australia.
Gotcha.
You would know Savage Garden song.
Okay.
They had a hit. They had a hit internationally. I forget which. I don't think it was The Moon and Back. I think it was something else. They had a couple hits in Australia, obviously because they're Australian. But they had an international hit. I don't know if I find this out.
Hmm.
Yeah, they got into the top of the not number 1 in the charts, but their albums got number 3 and number 6 in US.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not crazy. They were popular in the United States. You two just don't. Just uncultured, apparently.
Yeah.
Although
That's
that being said, I'm not really that big of a Savage Garden fan. Regardless, though, I think we can go gayer than Rainbow Kitten Surprise and Little Nas X.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So, the interesting thing to me, I don't know if you both listened to our song, the single that we had talked about covering.
I have been listening to it since it came out. Okay.
Yeah.
I had it on my 2020 shortlist, and they didn't really go me, so I never really continued listening to it.
That's fair. Yeah, to me, our song, it blows every other song on this particular Rainbow Kitten Surprise cut out of the water.
Oh yes.
Like a full
I mean,
album of
I wouldn't. I was just gonna say, like, I wouldn't put anything off this album. If I was doing a top 100 in 2015 or something when this came out,
Mhm.
I don't think there's a single song off it that would make it. And our song didn't make my 200 last year either. So yeah, I agree, but like, I don't think that anything off here is complete. Like, oh, every song off here is blown out by our song.
I guess it's just like our song was like the sound that I want from them.
Yeah.
It's like Heart and No Vacancy and the Mary B-sides. That's the only 2 songs on there. But like they kind of scratch that itch a little bit, and parts of RKS kind of do that. But our song is the most. It's like, this is why I like this band. This is why I wanted to cover them still.
The rough acoustics, the screams. Is there a fuck in there?
I don't remember. But there is kind of that very like rhythmic speaking that he does.
Yeah. Like Sam Mello, as we've established, does the best fucks.
Yes. I'm sure in more ways than one.
We are very struggling to find a joke, but we get there in the end. This is the
Yes.
Dissonant Waves podcast, the slowest podcast in the world.
I mean, all of my
Yes.
jokes are terrible. We've established this at the very beginning of the show today.
The very episode
Damn
of the show in
straight.
general.
So I was
Yeah.
researching that this band was on a show called Make a Band Famous. It was a reality
Did
show.
it work?
No, they got
Uh,
cut like the first round.
Damn. That actually probably did them better in the long run.
Yeah. Well, I think it's Matt Corby won Australian Idol,
Mm-hmm.
and he ended up refusing the record deals and stuff, and then would go out like 2 years later to say that it was the biggest fucking mistake in his life. And now he's very big in the Australian underground scene.
Nice.
It's not just
Yeah.
underground. He was playing on mainstream back in his early stuff as well, but like he won Australian Idol and then pretty much just refused all the like to do anything with the rewards because they didn't want to get fucked over.
Yeah, I mean, you see how American Idol turned out.
Yeah.
Like a handful of those people are like famous, and most of them are not the winners.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, no, that happens here as well. Like, hold on, I'm actually just gonna get the list of winners up for a second there, and we'll go through it. And what was the other show with Rainbow Kitten Surprise? Make a band famous or something?
Yeah.
So
And
just
with
a show.
with American like music shows like that, it's all about like the story, like, oh, my sister is dying of brain cancer.
I mean,
Was this making the band? You mean, or?
I mean, from what I was researching, it said make a band famous. Let me Google it real quick.
Let me just search up Rainbow Kitten Surprise. Might be easier. Google, Wikipedia. Love them all.
Let's see. Oh, I might be making the band. No. Oh, here. I have a VH1 article. Make a band famous. Meet the 12 finalists. Yeah, this was like a thing that the guy from All American Rejects had like headlined. Like that was his idea, or not,
Oh.
not his idea,
Oh,
but like
yeah.
his. He was like the head of it, like the vocal face of it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Just trying to see who's on there, and so far, looking at all the lists, I think Rainbow Kitten Surprise is the most famous out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah,
at.
I haven't heard of any of the others. So
Yeah, I'm looking at a. They do an interview with every band real quick. Yeah, I'm not noticing any of these names anywhere. Like I've never heard of any of these. Funny how that
also,
works out.
I was wrong about Matt Corby, by the way. He didn't win. He was a runner-up, so like he didn't have to refuse all that stuff. But only one of the winners ended up like being popular anyway, and that was the first one.
Kind of like here, Kelly Clarkson was the first one.
Yeah.
Now she has her own talk show.
Yeah, and it's boring as shit, except for when Vin Diesel premieres his debut track.
His debut
Greatest
track?
moment. Yeah, did you not see that? The Feel Like I Do debut on the Kelly Clarkson show?
No, I thought you did other songs before that.
No, that was his debut.
Oh. Well, he is a multi-talented artist, you know. He came into the industry as a director, but now he's Vin Diesel, Dominic Toretto.
Yes. And while we're on the topic of like mid to early 2000s pop stars, Free Britney.
Yeah,
Yes.
fair enough.
Free Britney.
Is there much else to say about RKS?
It's an alright album, but it's not their best.
Yeah, pretty much.
I am excited to
It's
see
better than
a new
anything we did
album.
last week, but
I mean, I still like Lil
yeah.
Nas X. I will give you the Alex Boniello thing, but you know, I'm glad we covered this just for the sake of completion, but that's not always a good reason to cover stuff.
No. But if anything, it's getting us more excited for their next album.
Yes, I do hope to see one in the next year. I would like to cover it on the show.
Hell yes.
So, favorites, least favorites.
Yeah. I like Run. I like Cocaine Jesus.
A favorite is probably Good Night Chicago or Goodbye Chicago. I forget what it is exactly.
Good night.
But Good Night. But Good Night Chicago or The Come Down actually is also up there as one of my favorites. And my least favorite is Cocaine Jesus.
I like Bare Bones. I like Good Night Chicago. Least favorite, probably something like Lady Lie or American Shoes. The B-sides, I think No Vacancy is a better B-side than Heart.
Absolutely.
But like Heart's like one of those weird things where that was like an early song that was posted on like YouTube and stuff, or No Vacancy was kind of like a new thing that just kind of popped up. So they definitely keep stuff in the chamber, and I don't know, you know, release more of that stuff. We want more of their music.
Yeah.
But our song rips, for sure.
It does. Oh, absolutely.
Which then leads us to what I would call the main attraction, in a way.
I have evolved from the human form into a butterfly.
The incredibly shifting magical band King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard has come back to us once again with the Butterfly 3000.
I'm just gonna say this like right off the bat. Holy fuck, there are some incredible songs of this.
Oh yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yours as an opener is S tier. It just sets the tone for this album
It does.
perfectly.
I don't think I have a least favorite this week off of this album.
And the first four songs are all good in their own right. But when Interior People comes on, holy shit.
that was the moment for me, for sure. It was like, oh, they're doing this. This is really good now.
And then I thought, like, I really love Interior People, but I think the song that beats it for me is then the next, Catching Smoke, which is their most tame and parlor sounding, the most tame and parlor sounding song that they've ever written. Like, if you told me
sounding than the Slow Rush.
Yeah, if you had told me it was a Tame Impala demo without me like ever having heard King Gizzard or something, which I know that's impossible, but I probably would believe it. It sounds like a Tame Impala B cut, but it does still have the King Gizzard vibe to it, and it does flow into this album so well. I fucking love it. It's so catchy as well. I love how it has like these. It has like this kind of sound changes in the middle of the song, but then it just goes back to it so seamlessly. I just love it.
Yes. It also does like the Nonagon Infinity thing of being like seamless in its transitions.
Yeah.
Not all
doesn't-
King Gizzard albums are like that, but like,
It doesn't loop back around this time, but I feel like that was like the one I was comparing it to the most. Was like they really just go through the whole thing with like no cuts, like at least I mean cuts, but like not like full changes.
I still don't forgive Fantano for giving this a 5. This is at 9
What
at
the
its
fuck?
worst day. It's a 9 on its
Yeah.
worst day.
High 9.
I mean,
This actually, I don't know if it beats any of Infested Rat's Nest, Polygon, Wonderland, Flying Microturnal, or Notagon for me, but it's those and this are the top 5 Gizzard albums.
like I'm not as
I
much.
love
Yeah, like it's.
Go ahead, Trix.
I was gonna say it's not like your traditional like. Like if you went into this expecting a King Gizzard album, you'd be disappointed, but it's still a good.
It still has the King Gizzard sound to it.
Oh yeah, like I'm not as much of a King Gizzard fan as you two still are, and so it's not maybe not a 9 for me, but it still is one of the most interesting albums of theirs we've listened to. It's still fascinating how they're able to like turn on a dime from like doing almost a double album from like the end of last year to the early this year with KG at LW into this.
Yeah.
And they also made the most accessible sounding album with no singles.
Yeah.
No singles,
This
all
is
music
all-
videos.
This is something that sounds like it's supposed to be radio friendly or commercial, but they did something that you don't usually do when you try to release something commercially. They put out no singles,
Yeah.
I mean, they got to try everything
which
once.
I think that's a smart idea. Well, they've done that many times, so they haven't released a single.
Oh. And then,
No, I mean Polygon Wonderland, they released Crumbling Castle as a single just before it.
and that was like the whole thing of like that's free for people to take and make
Yeah.
their own kind of thing. And so like they keep trying different stuff, and I think the more they try, the more things will work for them. They seem just to be an incredibly creative, just like group of people that just will keep expanding and expanding until it finally consumes them. And maybe that'll be in 20 years from now. Who knows?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a single song on here that doesn't make me happy. I love yours, Shanghai. Shanghai is the cheesiest song off here, but it's just it's so fun.
I like me some Blue
Yeah.
Morpho.
I would say if I was to give a least favorite, I don't really have a least favorite. Blue Morpho is the only one that just doesn't hit as well as everything else does. But I mean, I still like it. I mean, you can really give a least favorite when you love everything so much. When you have, it's like that one child that you still love, but it's just not as good as the other one who knows
Not
7
as good
different
as
languages.
Jeremy.
I do think it's interesting that they've released stuff that's like their own label now, KGLW. They kind of seem to have left Flightless a little bit.
I mean, they run. Well, I think they run Flightless, or at least now it might be Cavs runs Flightless.
Well, Eric Moore does. That's why he left the band.
Yeah.
But
So they're still a part of Flightless, but like I think there's their own agreements.
I just thought it was interesting that after that happened, this now becomes a thing where they're still releasing on Flightless, but this kind of self-release kind of thing happens. So I'm curious if there's anything going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I actually bought the CD off Gizverse before it sold out, so I got the CD and I got a vinyl for this. Good album, I love it. Thanks King Gizzard for transmorphing me into the butterfly I always wanted to be.
I mean, I'm gonna thank the hormones for that for me, but yeah.
Let's see.
Estrogen? Never heard of it. King Gizzard?
You got
Nothing
some.
makes me the
Gizzard,
woman I want to
estrogen
be.
witch.
Nothing
Queen
makes me the
Gizzard and the
woman I want to
estrogen
be
witch.
other than Butterfly 3000.
Now, Trix,
No,
you said you had some soup.
Yeah, I finished the soup.
Was it black
Was it-
hot?
No, it's not black hot soup.
Was it red hot?
It was actually red soup.
It was.
Tomato?
I think it was like a beef broth kind of deal.
Yeah, fair enough.
It was red.
I
It
don't.
was hot. It counts.
Yeah, it was like an Italian meatball soup.
I like stuff like Yell Love as well. Shout out to that. Shout out to Butterfly 3000 ending the album.
Butterfly 3000, the title track here, reminded me so much of Flying Microtonal Banana's ending track.
Yeah, which was Flying Microtonal Banana.
I keep thinking
It's
back.
kind of like, if this was the last album that King Gizzard ever put out somehow, it would feel like a good wrap-up.
Yeah.
Because it really does bring in a lot of what they've done and what was good about their good albums into it.
I hope
It's not the best album, but it's fantastic, like King Gizzard always is.
Yeah.
I hope and I
wonder
doubt
how it
it's the
fits into
end.
the Gizverse.
Yes, Dominic?
I hope and I doubt that it's the end for them.
It won't be the end for them. I was putting a hypothetical.
Right.
King Gizzard will never die. Especially when they got gigs happening in the next couple of months. Supposedly one in Sydney, but who knows?
Yeah.
Lockdown, baby!
My question is, how do they keep all these songs straight for like live acts? Like, there's so many songs now to choose from.
I'm pretty sure they plan all their set lists like months in advance.
Probably.
Yeah, that would you'd have to do it for a band like King Gizzard.
Like them, the OCs of Montreal, like that must be like a fascinating decision process of how to practice all those songs, keep them all in your head.
Well, for the OCs, I'm sure they can just kind of go off on anything because they're all maniacs there. But yeah.
Isn't an OC's concert just them playing their instruments and hoping it sounds like one of their songs?
I mean, you're not wrong. They go real jam bandy live. I love it.
Is there much else to say about Butterfly 3000?
Album
No,
good.
this-
Go listen to it.
Yeah, Interior People really hits it's at its best when you listen to it individually. The song, you don't really notice it, but when you do, you notice that it actually kind of builds up a bit as well, and the outro is just really, like, whilst it sounds like it's more the same, it does get a bit more, like, not slightly heavier and stuff, but just hits a bit more as well. I like it.
Yeah, Interior People is definitely the highlight, like the best one of all. Like, I like that piano in it.
It's
like-
between that and Catching Smoke for me.
Catching was also pretty
Yeah,
good.
As the youth say, slaps hard.
They
Good album.
Catching Smoke has that thing where they slow down a little bit and do like their stuff, and then they come back up.
I got happiness in my pocket. I don't know if it said happiness in my pocket or something else. It cost them $25.
I've got a penis in my pocket. It cost me $25.
Detachable penis too.
Detachable penis.
Yes.
I don't know if I
My
really
mom
have a
showed me
least
that song
favorite.
when I was like 13.
That song charted in Australia. I don't know how it did, but it did.
I don't know what song this is.
It's a fun song. Oh, we're
King
listening to
Missile.
it after this. Yeah, King
Yeah.
Missile's
Detachable
penis.
I have
It's a
not heard
riot.
this.
Isn't it like an allegory or something for infidelity?
I have no idea because I just laughed at the penis.
You just say ha because penis.
Penis.
Detachable penis. It's a hell of a song though. It's very.
Yeah. He
It's-
buys it
it's-
from a homeless guy for like $37 or something like that.
It's a very like alternative song.
Yeah,
Well,
we're listening
it's
to it
post punk.
after,
I'm pretty sure, but like yeah, but
well,
like
not really post punk.
isn't it a bit post punky?
No.
Maybe I'm misremembering a bit of the instrumentation. Anyway, I like this album. King Gizzard rules.
Album good. Go listen to it.
Now, when they do Shanghai, were they trying to make kind of like an Asian influence beat, or is that just my bias?
I think there is
mean,
a bit of there is throughout this whole album a bit of Asian influence, like of
Yeah, they use the
They all-
pentatonic scale, which is just
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
black keys on a piano is a pentatonic scale.
Gotcha.
Give you
in
give
the
you an
Gizzard
idea.
verse, all countries are the same.
Okay.
I don't know if that's actually a thing, but
I'm
I'm not that deep in the
just like
Gizzverse.
where Han Tumai just gets really into Tame Impala.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think for me the 3-2-1's pretty clear.
You want to just say it because I think we might all be agreeing here.
3 Bomboras, 2 everything Rainbow Kitten that we listened to, and then number 1 is King Gizzard.
All right, Trix, what's yours? Because I might agree with yours.
3 RKS, 2 Bomboras, 1 King Gizzard.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Trix.
Interesting.
I don't know. Bomboras is like I don't hate the Rainbow Kitten Surprise. I might have enjoyed it more than the other you two did, I guess. But the Bomboras, well, I enjoyed the first half more than you two did. But the Bomboras was just fun.
Yeah.
And when I'm giving this number 1 to the funnest album, got to rank number 2 as the second funnest.
Yeah. I think RKS is interesting and fun in a way. But yeah, King Gizzard's transformation, easily the best of the week for me.
Yeah.
Fascinating thing for them. But let's talk about what we're doing next week.
Oh boy.
For me,
Let me get my quarter.
I vetted my ideas, and I listened to a bunch of different albums to see what I wanted to pick. And this one is a little bit of a surprise. This is an album by an artist that has promised a debut album, but she kind of did this instead. So
we're doing an EP.
no, this is an album.
Oh,
But
okay.
we're listening to, I don't know if there's like a pronunciation of it, so I'll just say the acronym TIAPFYH by Left at London.
Left
All
at
right.
London. Fair enough. And I should probably add one of those to my 2021 shortlist so I actually remember to listen to it.
Yeah, she is an interesting artist, and this album intrigued me quite a bit.
All right.
Vix, you want to flip your coin?
Yes. Heads, I do Sliff's levitation sessions, and tails, I do the new Tristan album.
I think I'm already saying go
Oops,
with the
shit.
new Tristan.
I dropped the cord. Let me grab another one.
It's Tails.
Tails.
All right. It is Tails.
Miles Prower himself. So
I haven't actually properly listened to this one yet, and I've been meaning to. And I didn't think I was going to say that to a Tristan album, but the single Complex just really grabbed me. I actually think that's the best
It's a good
single.
album.
So
I think
Good
Complex is the best single she's put out.
what's the album called?
And this, Athena.
Aquatic Flowers.
Oh no, it's Aquatic Flowers. Sorry, I was looking at one of the singles. Good thing I did that. So now I have to figure out what the hell I'm gonna choose. Do I want to go with a post punk here, or do I want to go with a regular punk?
Were any of these choices you had in weeks previous?
Ah, yes.
I'd probably go with the one that you've been sitting on the longest.
Yeah.
They're both around the same.
Flip a coin.
Oh god. Okay. Well, you know what? One, I'm gonna pick the week after anyway because I like it. But we're gonna do one which is a band that I put out as a band to look forward to this year because I put one of the songs that they released last year as number 9 in my top 100.
Oh.
And the people can remember that it's Sly Withers' Gardens, which surprises me. This album actually. Usually a lot of Australian punk that comes out this year, or like in the Aussie punk, which is mostly pop punk, a lot of it is just an album that has a couple good singles. But whilst I don't think this is going to win next week, there are some very strong individual songs of this. So.
All right. So that makes next week, I mean, Left at London's TIAPYFA, or did I say that right? TIAPY. No, damn it. TIAPFYH. Don't know what it means.
Left at London.
Left at London, yes. Tristan's Aquatic Flowers and Sly Withers' Gardens.
I can't tell which one's gonna win this next week. Actually, I could have.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, the other pick I had was Skrid's Bright Green Field, and that probably would have been a number 1. But I'm not gonna go for that. We'll go to that the week after.
All right.
Scrids, what was it?
Bright Green Field.
I'll write it down just in case.
Yeah, I might do that the week after.
You can always change your
that
mind.
Nah, doing Gardens this week.
Well, I'm saying, like you said, you would do Mogwai at one point, and then you waited a month anyway. So.
Yeah, we did Mogwai.
Right, but it was like a month after you initially said you were gonna do it.
I'm floating some ideas around for next week. You'll see.
I mean, after next week. I mean, the 2 episodes from now, it's gonna be skeletal lapping. We're going back to Montreal for me.
All right.
Fair enough. But until then, I have been Ritalin, and probably after then, I still will be Ritalin. But you never know. I could become a butterfly. But until then, you can catch me on my website, ritalin4kids.github.io. I also have a YouTube channel, which I post nothing on, despite the fact that I have a Steam game coming out at the end of the month. You can go put that to your wish list at a if you want. It's gonna be free regardless.
Buy the many DLCs that'll come out for it.
At $100 a piece.
I'm Dominic. You can catch me on Twitter at DACICHOCKI. I've done some writing for Tilting Windmill Studios in the past. You can read a lot of my writing there, but I have not posted anything recently. You can follow Dissonant Waves on Twitter at Dissonant Waves. We have a website, dissonantwaves.space, and we're on YouTube, where you're probably listening to this.
Yes. I've been Trix. I cried for 2 hours today. You can catch me on Twitter at procrastinaut_, where I talk about eggs. And yeah.
You're like that one girl from the Amanda Bynes show.
Oh, Amanda Bynes.
I like eggs.
I thought you meant the
I'm gonna
crying
read-
for 2 hours.
Oh.
I mean both.
Well, that's going to do it for us. Hope y'all have a good evening, night, day.
Yes.
I love when you search up, by the way, detachable penis on YouTube. It just goes detachable peni.